In India's northern city of Vrindavan, some 2,000 widows abandoned by their families and society live in government shelters without basic amenities.
But last year, India's Supreme Court said the women should be given the support they need to live with dignity. VOA New Delhi correspondent Aru Pandey reported on one organization trying to make that ruling a reality. I caught up with her for more. Check it out. Okay, so Aru, tell us, what are the roots of this problem? Why are these widows ostracized?
Well, basically, it goes back to centuries ago. A lot of these women are completely dependent on their husband. Their husband is the primary earner, and once he dies, they really have nothing. So if they don't have kids, they don't have anyone to support them. The ones that often do have children, they move in with their children, their adult children, or maybe they move in with their in-laws, and they're either mistreated or they're basically thought of as a financial burden. So the relatives often kick them out, and they try to find a different, a purpose in life. So they find themselves in this religious city, in this holy city, and they decide to spend the rest of their life in this place.
Sulabh founder Bindeshwar Pathak says it's a dramatic change for many women who were cast out of their homes by family members and ostracized by society, often left to beg near temples to survive.
In 10 months, they wanted to die. And now they want to live longer, to enjoy life. They are very happy. So that way, we have brought a change in the minds of the women, because now they get opportunities.
Many of these widows had no way of supporting themselves and traveled from the eastern state of West Bengal to live their remaining lives at Vrindavan.
This plight of these women, how does it reflect India as a paternalistic society?
Well, that's basically what it is. It's a patriarchal society, like I explained. These women are completely dependent on their husbands. I mean, they don't have an outside career. They don't have outside money coming in. The ones that might be able to get some government support or welfare they're illiterate, so they don't even know how to navigate the system. They don't know how to open a bank account. They don't know that they should be entitled to certain benefits. They don't know how to read and write.
Now tell us about the organization that's helping these widows. How did this program come about?
The Supreme Court, a few years ago, was called attention to the plight of these widows. A lot of these widows were begging at temples in Vrindavan because they had no way to survive. And a lot of times when they died, there was no money, there's nobody there to actually perform the last rites or, cremate them. And the Supreme Court heard about the plight of them and was so shocked by some of the conditions that they currently live in these government-run homes, that the Supreme Court asked this particular NGO, Sulabh International, and another NGO to, please help out if you can support these widows and basically give them a new lease on life and provide them not just with financial support, but with training.
From what you know about the issue and the circumstances of widows in India, do you think enough is being done?
Well, I think in that city in particular, Vrindavan, there's I think about 15,000 widows estimated, and I think nationwide about 40 million. So it's a huge population, and I think these type of programs help. But again, this NGO right now is only helping about 900 people. I mean, they're trying their best, but it really is, I think, it's partly a societal change. There needs to be a change in the way people view these widows.
And finally, just out of curiosity, how was it that you found this organization and found out about this program?
Well, Sulabh has been doing a lot of work. Like I said, for example, they've been working in sanitation, making sure that a lot of the areas in a lot of the rural areas in India are connected with sanitation, and they've actually contacted me and saying that, look, we have this new program where we're helping these widows. And just to give you an idea, the founder of this NGO, Dr. Pathak, he's really supporting them with mostly his own money. They don't really rely on donations.
And again, Aru Pandey is VOA's correspondent in New Delhi. Our thanks again to Aru.